is it worth it to try to advocate for change in a company culture regarding mental health and neurodiversity as a lower level employee at a company that I think has potential to be better? Or should I prioritize myself?
What a question. Yes. It's a tricky one, right? Because you don't want to put yourself out there and be shot down and be that person. But at the same time, if it comes off, it'll be bloody great. We were just talking about values and how values and I guess the environment culture of the agency space is shifting and changing, and a lot of the times for the good. So I would say that there's probably people in your workplace that have similar thoughts. So potentially finding a couple of people that would like to advocate for these changes or demonstrate that there's a need for it. If you're unsure on how far you want to advocate or what conversations, absolutely even having these conversations with someone, if your workplace does have a HR or someone that sort of can assist with that and sort of fulfill you on what they think or say that they're delivering versus what they're actually delivering, and help them facilitate a better outcome that way. But yeah, I would say that if you don't want to put yourself out, don't. Try and find some people within your workplace or even amongst your community that can really help and advocate with that. Don't be afraid to question those that are, if they are preaching that they're doing certain things, if you don't see that they're delivering.
Okay, I think I'm going to jump in. I think there was also coming to a conclusion, which was great. The other thing I would say on this is, so I think you've got to be in the right place for a culture to be able to kind of allow people to come up with that stuff. But I have actually experienced, someone came to me who worked at a very large agency. They're across Sydney and Melbourne at agency, and they wanted to create change, and they did it very carefully and cleverly. So they brought in, it was kind of very much a grassroots movement, and similar to what you were suggesting there, Amy, like they got quite a few like-minded people together. They found people who also thought about this, and then they took it to management. And management allowed them, and this is where you got to get the culture right, but management allowed them to form a bit of a kind of mental well-being group or well-being group to then be able to start to discuss initiatives that they could do more broadly with the rest of the team. And it wasn't an the other point to make around this is not an overnight thing. You're not just going to go to your manager and say, hey, I think we should be doing this, and then hope that they'll go yes. It took them, I reckon we did a few workshops. It took them 2.5 years to get this change around where they started to make well-being a priority. But by the end of it, it was being talked about at, company all hands meetings. Things were improving. I'm sure it's not perfect because no business is, but they did it in a way where the safety in numbers was definitely a big part of it. And then getting outside perspectives as well to help you, not just trying to feel like this is your own little crusade in a business. So I think it's definitely possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you don't have to do it in a way that is forceful when it comes to advocating. We can do it through expressing curiosity as well and testing the waters before we do lean into having these conversations and leading initiatives as well. So don't feel like you need to be a bull in a china shop. You can lead in quite gently if you feel quite comfortable with that. And also looking at the things that within workplaces now we're required to do as far as the psychosocial legislation and right to disconnect, which we're having conversations about as well.
Yeah, great. Okay.